All right, my people. Hello, welcome back to a backtesting session. Okay. I said last episode on the trade recap that I wasn't gonna do one, but I was like, you know what? I got loads of time on my hands today, so I might as well just record a video for you lot. Okay. So one thing I was kind of thinking about just before actually getting into making the video is I kind of want to use backtesting sessions as refining my strategy as best as possible, and making it something that works for me and is most comfortable for me and most consistent for me. Okay. So there's going to be times where I'm going to add new stuff. I might remove stuff. I might completely switch it up and use a different strategy for whatever reason because maybe I'm seeing long term this was not working out for me or anything of that sort. Okay. So in terms of today's episode, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be integrating the I've kind of given it a golden color because that's a just kind of looks nice like that. Let's do this one like that. So we're going to be adding the 0.705 and 0.79 fib pool, okay? Because beforehand it was just 0, 0.51, and now I want to integrate this error. Why? Because well, it will kind of help in terms of refining a entry, I hope. Okay. So coming into the weekly, right? So this is a new week starting. What do we have? Well, we have one gap here, one massive gap. We also have another. Let me just correct that. We have another gap here. Okay. So we have loads of inefficient price. We have price inefficiencies. Okay. No gap here, no gap. Okay, so we have no gaps on ES, but we have gaps on NQ. So let's just kind of get our template out. Let's also check news. So it would be the 5th of June. 5th of June, we have 10 a.m. ISM. So we just type in 10 a.m. ISM. And now let's comment on the weekly. Okay, so on the weekly, we push past previous week's candle. NQ taps into a bearish gap. I'm not going to give a fuck about the spelling, okay, because it's something that's just going to be in my head. NQ taps into a bearish gap, and leaves bullish IRL gaps. ES does not leave any IRL gaps and is tapped into a rejection block. Okay, getting close to this high. Okay, or see which I'm going to mark out now as buy side liquidity right here, this high. Okay, let's mark out these highs as well. Bang. This in itself will be a high on the lower time frames. Okay. All right. Now let's go into the daily. So what do we see in the daily? Daily we get a bullish gap here. Let's bring it to the front. Yes, we also have a bearish order block here, right? Let's see, let me mark out this tool. Yeah, okay. Now let's just talk about the daily. So what did? We took out this previous swing high. Okay. So let's just say we are in a high time frame bearish key level, therefore could see some rejection lower. Okay. Into those areas of IRL, daily, weekly, bullish gaps. Okay, we have daily bullish gaps on both assets. Okay, so overall high time frame, what are we? We are bullish. Okay, we have been running higher. We're in the market maker buy mode, aren't we? So we come down, trace, come down, accumulate, bang, 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 bang. Right. So I guess at this point is where the market maker buy model would end. Okay. Overall, high time frame is bullish. Okay. So let's go into the 4-hour. Right. right. Let's just zoom all the way back in to this area. Um, right. Okay, so here we have a 4-hour bullish gap. Here we also have 4-hour bullish gap. No 4-hour bullish gap. A 4-hour bullish gap. Okay. So just kind of annotate that. Price closes a 4-hour bullish gap close to previous day high on NQ and a lower discounted WG on ES. Okay. Let's just go into the 1 hour. Let's see what's going on. Are we respecting bearish PD arrays? Right, that's what I'm kind of interested in looking at right now. Needless to be accumulating. Okay. Let's just mention that price has entered this hourly gap on NQ. Price steps into this hourly bearish gap on NQ with no gap. Yes. Okay. We look to be consolidating. Okay. So what is this? This is a 4-hour gap, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, this is the 4-hour gap. So since we're accumulating here, right? If we zoom out, right, time dilation. What the fuck? We're just hovering in this gap, okay? We're just hovering in the gap. Now, what can we expect? Well, since we tapped into internal 4-hour gap right next to the previous day's high, we could expect a rally on higher. Or if we get strong movement away, right? Strong displacement through it, what can we target? These areas, okay? So let's just write that down. So if price continues to linger at this 4-hour bullish gap on ES, we can expect previous high to be taken out. If it displaces through, we can target weekly, daily gaps, okay? For the rest of the week, right? So now let's continue to just kind of read market price action. So let's just kind of see what price does. So let's mark out what New York, midnight opening price does. Midnight. Get a possible Judah swing. Okay, let's mention this. So midnight. Okay. Price moves lower before moving a bit higher. Judah swing? Question mark. And then now let's look at London. Let's see what London session does. Okay, we get ready. Into this gap. So look at the hourly. Okay, nice. We run into this bearish gap. What the fuck? There we go. All right, so let's just talk about London session. So London runs into this hourly bearish gap on NQ. Heading it in. We need to wait and see better and clearer. Yeah. If we move lower, ideal targets are up, right? So let's just continue to see what price does. Are we moving lower or are we moving higher? Let's just actually go back. So, looking at the 15-minute, it just kind of like nothing super clear apart from ES showing us obviously moving higher. Okay, ES moves higher from this small 4-hour gap. So let's just go back out and let's see. High time frame, we are bullish. ES taps into this 4-hour bullish gap. We can anticipate this being an SMT fill, therefore expect higher prices today, right? So let's just kind of see this. This is the 10 o'clock candle. This is the 10 o'clock. So what do we obviously have? Well, we have a SMT, right? So Sunday 18, we get an SMT fill. So let's just do this to this, we get an SMT. Okay, and we tap in, right? So now at this point, London doesn't really provide anything. It doesn't take out any, like, it doesn't take out Asia lows. Asia lows are still protected. Let's just mention that. So we have London doesn't do anything important. We still have Asia session lows being protected. Therefore, could see price going higher and then lower. So we get AMD or a continuation long. So okay, so let's kind of get us into the 30. Let's go into 1 minute. Kind of just want to see what price will do here, right? We need to remember we do have 10 a.m. news, so I think it's best that we probably do wait on that, right? Let's just wait, bang. 9:30 open. Right, we get a load of volatility on NQ. So let's just kind of see what price does. It's previous day's high. Okay, previous day's high does get taken out. It looks like we displaced through. Okay, we displaced through. Now let's just talk about this real quick. So Young AM open, price runs through previous day high after running into that 4-hour bullish gap on ES, right? So that was correct. We have the news, we have that news at 10 a.m. Therefore, we'll just patiently wait. Okay. So let's just kind of see what happens here. I think the more important part is the 1 hour to see if we sweep it or not. If we sweep it, then obviously what can we expect? Low prices, right? And that looks very clean to me. Okay, that looks like a very clean sweep to me. 10 a.m. 10 a.m. candle, we can see a clear sweep of previous to high. Okay. So at this point, really, going back onto the 1 minute. Why? Well, because we have a change of state delivery. We have a nice market structure shift. Do we have an SMT? No. Is there anything within this level that could provide us with an entry? No. What about here? I marked that out wrong. Great. Nothing. Still nothing. Yeah, nothing really, right? So let's just kind of, wow. Okay. nice. Well, another thing that we have, obviously at 10, let's just quickly have a look at this. We get a possible SMT, right? So could be likely that we do have an SMT right here. Let me just go into do it on the 5 minutes so it's a lot clearer to look at. So bang, bang. And what do we see happen coincidentally as well? We tap into the key level, right? So let me just take a picture. Say we could be generating an SMT lower right now, given by the 10 a.m. news candle. Okay. So let's just kind of look now. And what do I want to see? Well, I want to see first of all, a change in the state of delivery. Okay, so we just had the sweep. Where's a change in state of delivery? Well, ideally it's somewhere here, right? Sorry, let me just correct that. And then as well as that, I would like a significant market structure shift. This low is more than enough, okay? So let's just kind of see what price does. Does it begin to move lower? Yes, it does. We can see that happening clearly on thingy. ES, okay? Enki has the SMT, therefore I will take the entry on what's it? NQ, right? I remember that from last trade recap. If the NQ is weaker, what we're going to do, we are going to trade. Okay, that's what we're going to do. We come into this 5 minute gap and we respect it, which is nice and clean. So let's just actually annotate that as well. So on both assets, we can see a clear respect of the 5 minute bearish gap. I am interested in looking for a short on NQ rather than ES because of the S&P. Okay. So what am I waiting on here? Well, we have this high time frame SMT here, and now I'm kind of looking for anything promoting lower prices. Okay, so we have this leg, but do we get a change in the state of delivery? No, we get a change in state of delivery on thing, but that's fine. I'm still waiting for this. Okay, I'm still waiting for this. We don't get any displacement yet. Let's wait. Let's just continue to wait. We look to be chopping now for a bit. Okay. Do we get maybe another higher time frame SMT? This is the nope, we're still moving lower, so we are chopping now. Okay, so let's just actually mark that out. We now look to be chopping a little bit. Let's go back out into the hourly. Okay, let's just see if maybe there's something that we're missing. 4 hour candle. Let's look. Okay, we are wicking around. Okay, very, very clear wicks. So we're consolidating. Let's have a look at the daily candle. Right, well, it very much could be that we have just high 651.75. So we're coming in really close to filling in this entire weekly gap. Okay. Let's have a look at the 4 hour. Let's have a look at the hourly. Okay, we're quite close to pushing in a bullish gap on the hourly on NQ. Okay. But for now we have a 15-minute gap here, so let's actually just mark that out. Push gap. Let's mark that out. Okay. But for now, I'm just completely willing to wait. Okay, I'm willing to wait. Staying patient. Okay. There we go. We actually void out the SMT. But now, what do we get? We get another SMT, right? So the SMT cancels out and it forms another SMT, which is really cool. See, this is the 940 candle. This is 940. Okay. Actually, let's do this one for the sake of the data high. The data high is also a very clear draw, which I think is quite important. But here we go. Look, we can see on the 15-minute, what do? We sweep, right? Again, we have yet another sweep. I'm going to stick to this candle because this is obviously that important high that got swept. So this is 930. So let's just kind of do this. This is the SMT. Okay. Now, what are we waiting for? a lower time frame break. Right, we're looking for something clear. So you let it be the 3 minute or the 1 minute. And even on the 1 minute, our market structure shift is here. Okay, so we're looking for CISD. Nope, this is our change in state delivery. Looking for our change in state delivery here. And we're looking for our market structure shift. Yeah. Okay. If price does not offer it, then that's completely fine. It could very much be that we are just bullish, right? We are continuing bullish, or this could be a late manipulation leg. Okay, so let's just kind of go back into the 1 minute and kind of show what's going on. So market rallies again, taking out data high on NQ and forming an SMC on ES. Now the look on a trade has flipped to ES, and I am going to patiently wait for the CISD and bearish market short shift. Okay, so let's just look. Do we begin to move lower? Not really. We are still in a chart. Okay, we have this bullish gap on the 1 minute. Let's see if price displaces through and moves higher. Nope. Okay, it does. Well, really, to me, it looks like we're kind of struggling. From 9:30, we just push higher, and we don't get any sort of manipulation, right? So let's just try out this gap. Okay, still pushing for higher prices. We have a 15-minute gap here. Price does not reach it. But yeah, we are. If someone caught a long off of this hourly gap, then fair play to you. But I don't think that even. Yeah, no, this wouldn't have even been formed yet. You wouldn't have been even caught in this. But we have this 5 minute gap. But even then, there is no sweep. Okay, there is no sweep. We rally on higher. We have tapping into this 5 minute gap, and then we get a continuation. I see, even in real life now, like in real time when I'm actually trading, we always see that a push higher, a retracing into like some sort of 5 minute gap, and then we continue on higher. Right. So maybe it's just safe to take one of those fucking shitty trades every now and then and just test your luck, right? But there we go. We're finally getting some pressure to move lower. Okay. The data height is being protected here. Okay. Now, I'm interested in seeing, do we get like an SMT? So let's see, 11:30, 11:45, 11:30, 11:45. We do get an SMT. Okay. So right here, bang, we get a buy side. Bang, we get weakness. Okay, there's our first sign of genuine weakness. So what we can do is we can, with that, we still have the SMT intact. Okay. Now let's kind of re-annotate this. 5 minute as a bearish SMT on ES on the candles. Will be more clear on lower time frame. Okay, so let's go down into the 1 hour. Sorry, the 1 minute. Let's have a look at this SMT. So, do we get a change of state delivery? Yes. Do we get a significant market structure shift? Yes. Did I miss an entry here? Most definitely. I keep doing this thing wrong. Okay. Something like this. Nope. I think the best thing to do here is to just wait. So we are eventually going to get a retracement, such as this one here. Okay. And where is the what I just do? What did I just do? Okay, so let's just look and see if we get like we have a nice 3-minute gap or a 2-minute gap in this level. Nope, we don't, but we do have a gap here. Okay, now when it comes to this, I'm kind of thinking, is this a silly boy trade, right? Is this a silly boy trade? You've got to really kind of think about this now because we have this gap that got completely filled in. Okay, trying to see if I missed this trade, maybe. Right, doesn't matter anyway. Okay, price is continuing to move higher now. We do get a nice little range, so we get. Okay, I shat my pants. I thought I had something going on. So we get the SMT. We do get this SMT, nice and clean. We get a nice market structure shift. We get a change of state. We get everything. Okay, everything is lining up, right? So even on the low time frame, we can actually mark this as our change of state. Okay. Then we have our 5-minute market structure shift. I would like to use the one before the sweep. So right here. Bearish shift in market structure. So where could price really tap into? Well, I say for safety purposes, we could see price tapping into this 1-minute order block. Okay, so let's do bearish order block. I think that's completely fine. 672.75. Stop loss at this high. And where are we targeting? Well, let's have a look out on the 5-minute. Have we tapped into anything significant yet? Nope. The 0 level is obviously our first target, and I think that might be our only target as well. Actually, no, let's do this bearish gap. Now, once again, sorry, this bullish gap. Now, once again, guys, you remember I did say in the backtesting sessions that this is something that I will kind of just go along when it comes to backtesting because there's always something that ends up happening that I do not obviously get to capture myself on, right? And obviously that's completely fine, but so long you have a sort of trade idea that makes sense to you in your head, then it's valid. No, would you not agree? So let's just do. I think maybe it's best I actually do this entry point here, right? 670, 67. Let's do the gap right there. So we have a nice 1 to 3. Okay. So get rid of that, and let's actually just update. So let's say this is the trade idea. Golden level on fib plus golden fib plus bearish order block with an unmitigated bearish 1-minute gap. We have 5-minute CISD and market structure shift lower, and I think the prices. Okay, I do want to quickly zoom out back onto the 5-minute just in case we are still within a chop. This could be I mean, I seem quite confident in this trade, but obviously it's very likely that we do continue on higher given that we have pushed through the previous day's high, right? We pushed through the previous day's high and we have continued going longer. So it's a 3RR targeting 15-minute IRL bullish gap. Okay, SL at candle body close. So let's place the order. Advanced 1 sell. Let's see what price does. Okay, we get tapped in. And is it likely we get stopped out? I think so. Okay, I think so. Given the position of the candle already, obviously you can't really tell in hindsight, but I think it's quite likely that we do get stopped out. So let's just say I am in this trade. Not a lot of hope given the displacement out of the 1 minute bearish gap. However, we will look and see. Okay, so there we go, we get stopped out. Right, bit unfortunate. What can you do in this situation? How was my read wrong? Okay. We don't reach any LD gap, do we? Nope. I need to begin clearing out the shit when it does get swept, because it does get a bit annoying. Yeah, we pushed through previous day's high. Could it be a thing where it was an early entry? I'm just trying to see what the hell the market is doing. Like, we've just had a completely bullish run. No draw on internal liquidity whatsoever, which is a bit weird, but obviously this is that weekly high that we could be targeting. Is it the weekly? Yeah. Maybe it's a thing where the market now will begin to retrace and target lower. Well, I'm not too sure. Okay. So it was going on for half an hour. Fucking hell, I guess. Okay, so we do. This is what the market does. Okay. Well, that's okay. We do get a sweep right here. Sweep. Change of state delivery. Market structure shift all on the 15-minute. We tap into that 15-minute gap. Okay. Is there any sort of sweep that we could be into? Because now we're accumulating at this area. We manipulate, take out the short-term high. What do? We continue lower. Yep. Okay, so this was a troubling day. Right, troubling day. It's a thing where I took the trade during lunch. Okay, I took the trade during lunch. Lunch we began to sort chop. I should have waited. Okay, that's fine. Could have waited on the sweep. Let's change in the state. Everything would have happened within that one candle. But obviously we do not get any retracement on this area, right? So we'd have to find some sort of convincing continuation long, right? Short, sorry. Now, how would that happen? Well, I don't think this would have happened, right? I keep doing this not candle, the fib wrong. Right, we can see how obviously we do not get anything. Okay, we do not get anything. So let's go from the top. Right from this top part where we begin to start moving lower. Are we getting anything that's obviously providing us with reason to begin pushing lower, right? Because this is a massive decline, right? Massive decline into what? Well, London session lows, right? We take them out. We run into the 4-hour gap. What do? We displace through it, I'm guessing. Are we going to displace through it? Yep. Come on, man. Right, when is this next candle gonna fucking show? Okay. Let's just do 15-minute, 10-minute, and then hourly. Nope, 30-minute. Right. So we accumulate really on the 4 hour gap. So let me actually annotate my original trade. So I don't think that bearish order block idea was smart at all. As soon as seeing this getting displaced through, I shouldn't have really thought about taking a trade. So something new when it comes to taking a trade. I think this was too spontaneous of a trade idea. It's best to stick to your strategy but refine within it rather than grab something like a bearish order block. Something like a bearish order block into your entry. From so let's just actually work today. So New York AM, we see a rally past retail high. This should, in my brain, automatically say it's time to stop thinking bearish. We are likely to get a continuation higher. This trade, this day was one of those things where it rallies in the morning and then corrects its rally in the afternoon. Okay, aka we traded too early. Now, regardless, I don't think I would have caught an entry here as my model did not reveal itself. Okay. Now you see what I mean when it comes to these days where there's massive moves up and down, right? Not being able to catch a trade and something like this is obviously going to have a bit of a. It's going to be a bit like an owl, you know. It's going to be an owl, right? See, I'd love to catch these a move like this, right? People, what the fuck is going on? People who take trades like, let's say, PB Blake or something, right? They would see they change the state delivery, they'd sweep from the 15-minute. Okay, let's see a sweep on the 15-minute. They'd go down all the way into like a 1 minute. Okay. And all they're waiting on is this gap to be inversed. Okay. A change in the state of delivery. And then they're short from here. Right? They're short from here. Where's their stop loss? Right here. Where's their target? Well, very simple, something like this low, right? And it works, right? Can we see how this works? Another I want to find ways where it doesn't work. So we're looking for a bullish gap to be inversed and then no inversion, no inversion, no inversion, no inversion. Okay. But even on this inversion, the price taps back into this gap, right? Tap back into it, and then we get a move lower, right? We have a bearish gap in here. Sorry, bullish one. We inverse it. We get a change in state delivery. Where are you going short from? Even on the 5-minute, right here. Where's your stop? At this swing high. Where are you targeting? London lows, right? London lows you wouldn't have reached, right? Okay, but yes, does reach it. which means you take up your position. Okay. All right. Well, I kind of learned a little bit from that. Maybe inverse finale upside away. Like you know, there's so many things you got to play into part here. I think might next time I do backtesting, I might actually look at inverse value gaps as an additional confluence. But obviously, yeah, that's that. Um, Market rallies in the morning, and then market corrects itself in the afternoon. Okay. Let's also just let in trade notes. Strategies. Let's not put anything for that because I didn't follow it. So adaptation for the morning. Patience for the afternoon. Let's do setup quality because we didn't wait for the 15-minute sweep, right? We waited for this. Yeah, even. Right. If we waited on the short-term high being swept and a breakdown, then we could have seen shorts. Okay. What else? Internal external reads. We had the rally from the 4-hour gap. Hard time for narrative. We were still bullish in the morning. Reaction for the key level. Yep. Okay. Positives. Calm. Risk management. Okay. I wasn't panicking. Okay. Right, well, that's that. I'm gonna upload this, and I will see you lot tomorrow. Bye bye. Actually, maybe you won't. You'll never know. Surprise.